Good morning, everyone. It is 8:23 a.m. I am going to give myself till 11 a.m. to build out the Shopify store that we signed up for yesterday. I haven't used Shopify, so we'll see how far I can get in designing my own store for my music brand, Newmark, within the next 3 hours. So what I'm going to do is design and then come back and kind of overview what I did, any hiccups I had, and what worked and what didn't, and teach you how you can design your store quickly. So let's go to the title sequence, and then when we jump back, it will be 3 hours later. Peace. Okay guys, we are back. So let's look at what I created. In just about 2 hours, I created a completely functioning store. I think it looks pretty good. It's very minimal, but at the same time, it accomplishes all of my goals. It is live and functioning and can take pre-orders now. I'm pretty sure it can take pre-orders, at least it could on my end. I'm gonna have a friend, who's not from my IP address and a few other people make a pre-order because A, I need pre-orders, and B, I just wanna make sure it works before I start really pushing it out there to everyone. So here we are, right? Just scrolling around. So you'll see it's pretty basic. But I actually wanted basic. It's not so much that it's basic because Shopify, kept me limited to that basic website. It's kind of the look I wanted to go for, and it was also very good to keep it up in that 2.5 hours. I highly recommend, if you're designing your site, to keep it relatively basic at the start. I think a lot of people try to make things too perfect, and it takes them days and days, and they get frustrated, and then they never actually launch what they meant to launch because they got stuck in this design wormhole phase. Okay, so let's talk about how I went about designing this. So the first step I want to emphasize is actually outside of any website creation platform, and that's really just thinking what you need your site to do. So I just sat down for a second. This is a program I love called Xmind. That's a side note. I do have a review on Xmind. But basically, I just wrote down, okay, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to make a Newmark Shopify creation, and I wanted to list out the key purposes and pages and functionalities. And what I really came down to is I just want people to be able to buy and pre-order merch. That's number one. Number two is I want them to be able to sign up for my mailing list, because it's always good to grow a mailing list. And number three is I just want them to be able to see my YouTube videos and view and subscribe and everything like that. So then, take these purposes and then match them into a theme design so that I don't get too custom and I don't go too crazy. And then basically I also want to be able to have a functioning site up ASAP. So I just kind of wrote down my goals and the purpose of the site. And then once I had that clear, I know it sounds like it's probably clear in your mind, but it just helps to write them out, and actually saves you time, because then when you go into working on your site, you remember what your goal and your purposes are. So that was my step one, and now we're going to jump into the Shopify platform. So the very first thing that you're going to see is when you sign into Shopify, they have a great dashboard right here. But we're gonna call this kind of the back-end dashboard. This is for you to work with. So the first thing it has you do is add a product, and it's literally right here. And so you just do add another product. I'm gonna do a demo right here. And you literally just put in the title of the product, a description, then you add any pictures you have of that product, even videos, any media. You put in the price, say it's $100 or $1,000, sure. Compare at price is actually like a non-sale price, so this would show as $1,111 on sale for $1,000. You put in your cost per item so that you can see your margins and your profit. So if it cost me $500 to make it and I'm selling it for $1,000 at the sale price, I would make a 50% margin or a $500 profit, which is great, does the math for you. You put in your kind of SKU numbers, your quantity available, it will track your inventory for you. I set up a pre-order, so I actually found out that when I put in dummy quantity, I had to go and make it go back to zero so that the pre-order would turn on and function, because it was saying, okay, you don't have any quantity, you're only accepting pre-orders. You put in the product's weight, your region, so that they have that for customs and shipping information, and then you can kind of just edit the SEO right here so that it looks better in a search engine when people are searching for your products. So that's about as simple as it gets for adding the product, and that's what created this for me. I uploaded this image, I put in the various sizes, and people can select the quantity and then they can pre-order. I even put this message here: I have to get to 100 shirts. I appreciate your support. If you were to click on this, and there you go, we can check out, and it is ready. You could really check out with any of these and pay, but I'm not gonna do that quite yet. So let's go back to the main website, and you'll see that, you know, that shirt appears here in the middle of my site. I chose to put it there by design. So what you do to design the site more specifically is to go back to this home, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to online store, and then I went to themes, and the debut theme is actually the one that it comes pre-installed with. I chose to keep that theme because I knew I wanted to keep things very simple, and I recommend you pick a theme, ideally a free theme when you're starting out, and you design around that theme rather than having this exact image in your mind that you need your store to be, because that will lead to a lot of frustration. So I just picked a theme and then I designed around that theme. You can explore themes right here. I started to explore this narrative theme, so if you click explore themes, you know, these are all the free ones, and you can kind of check out the designs and pick one. And then what you would do is you would essentially pick a theme, it'd be up here, its name, and then you would, you know, activate it, preview it, publish it, etc. I stuck with the debut theme, and then to get into the design, what you do is you go to customize. We were in the backend dashboard. Now this is kind of like the front end dashboard. So what you'll see is all of these categories here on the left line up linearly in the order that they appear on the site. So for instance, we have the header, then we have this image with the text, "Hi, I'm Newmark. Below you'll find fun music videos and cool shirts with aliens on them." So if I wanted to change that, I just had like cool, and now it's right there on the screen. So, you know, then on to the next section. I'd be like, here is my most recent music video. And then for this, I just put a video and the text content. And you can rearrange these. So if I wanted to make my most recent video down one, there it is now. These are in the wrong order. So you just flip them back to the way they were. Now, what you'll see is you'll see all these sections, because there'll be sections there from your template. But at the same time, you can delete those sections by just going remove section and clicking on it. But if you want to add a section, you click add a section, and then on the left now you see all the various sections that you can add. So, you know, maybe I want to add these blog posts, and this is showing me a preview, and I have to click add if I actually want to add it. So let's say I click add, and now you'll see that on my actual live site, the blog posts are down here, and this would show my featured blog posts, and I can move them anywhere in the site design that I want. But the thing is, I don't have blog posts for this Shopify site because this is just for my musical project. I think the best way for you to learn how to design the front end of this Shopify store is really just to get in there, sign up for Shopify, link in the description below for the most up-to-date deal. I'd appreciate you using my link. So go ahead, sign up for Shopify, then pick a theme that you're going to design around, and then honestly just start tinkering. I'm not going to do a tutorial over every little thing because I think you kind of just figure it out. There'll probably be, at least for me when I was first starting, I had this like 15 to 20 minute period where I was just like, oh my god, this is so annoying, what am I doing, I'm not figuring this out. But then I kind of pushed through, I made a few breakthroughs, and I just started creating inside the platform after just kind of pushing through for those 20 minutes. So I recommend you do the same and you'll figure it out. One of the breakthroughs I made is in these sections, I kept using the custom content section. So essentially it always comes up looking like this, but if you add it, what you can then do is you can then add things within the custom content section. So let's say I wanted to make, you know, a picture, and then so I wanted to make a picture on the left, text, and another picture. There's not a pre-built section like that, but what I can do is just add a custom section, and then I can create it myself, because this kind of adds like a line of content. But you'll see here, like, I didn't do exactly what I want. That's because the container width is still set at 50, so I would want to split that 3 ways, which then essentially So I'm making them all 33% container width. And now I have that section that I want. The picture, the words, the picture. Say I wanted to center the words. It's as simple as horizontal alignment, centered. Okay, so that's what I mean. One of those breakthroughs was realizing that I could break out of the box of just their pre-built sections and use this custom content. I'm gonna remove that. And then another breakthrough was I just needed some easy, quick wins. So next to sections, that's kind of the bulk of your pages, you can go to theme settings, and then with theme settings, you can set your theme's colors. So I set it to that blue for the sale price, and then I just kept it at black, personally, black and white. But you can change all the colors that you want. So if I want my headings and links to be, I don't really want to change this right now, but that would change the color of the heading and links. Typography, I changed everything to Montserrat rather than the Helvetica that it came in, so you can start changing fonts. You can input your social media links. All you have to do is go to your Facebook page, copy the link, and then now those are down here. Let's see, from here you can set a little favicon, as you see here on my main site. There's this little alien dude reading the book. It's this guy. I just set him as the favicon. The favicon is the little thing in the top left corner, like Shopify has this bag. Add to cart means you can have little notifications when people add it. You can do your checkout screen. I added this new mark logo. The actual logo up here was in the sections. In the header, I added the logo. So I think a lot of it is just getting those little wins, and that's how you're going to go about designing your site. I also highly recommend just set a timer, kind of like I did, and don't give yourself more than say 4 hours, at least for the day, because you're gonna start designing yourself into a tangle or into a hole. And I think it's better if you just think like, okay, I need to get something that's at least passable live in these next 4 hours. That doesn't mean you have to send out a subpar product. It means just get a minimum viable product up there, so that then you can go back and iterate on it. So for instance, this site is live and is functional, but I'm not actually sharing it. Okay, so that was the front end section of kind of the design. I want to take you back into the back end section where we started out, and you have these various things, because one of my big questions was, all right, you have this product, you have this design, and you have this order set up. What happens when people actually order your product? Like where does the money go? How is all the payment set up? Because I know with WordPress, which I absolutely love, you need to get all these plugins though, so to accept payments. So I came back to this checklist. We saw me add the product, we saw me customize the theme, and then set up payments was just checked for the most part. So that's one of the great things about Shopify is once I got out of the free trial version, I had to choose a plan. That was really the only thing. I had to choose a plan, and then once I chose a plan, it kept my free trial going. But it knew that, okay, once the free trial ends, it's going to start me. I chose the lowest plan, which is $29 a month. And then my payments were basically just set up. To my knowledge, it is live and ready to go. I could be mistaken because I haven't had a third party order it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's good to go. You basically just click here, you do complete account setup, and then you enter in your name, your social security number, your address, etc. And then you're ready to start taking payments. And then with Shopify payments, it accepts Apple Pay, Google Pay, all the major credit cards. So it's really got you covered there, and they do 0% transaction fee with Shopify payments. Okay, and the next big thing that I wanted to do to really feel like this site was live was connect it to a real domain, which is to say I didn't want to use the thisnewmark.myshopify.com. Shopify instantly gives you that domain so that you can just start working on a site, and that's awesome. You actually can use that domain if you want to and send people to that, but that's a little confusing to use. If it just puts your store name with the dashes in between it, .myshopify.com. I wanted to actually connect it to the domain name I own, thisnewmark.com. So I went here and I had to connect a domain from Bluehost, which was a little bit more annoying because I had already bought the domain on Bluehost, and then I just had to do connect existing domain. And basically what I had to do is I typed it in here, and and then I went into Bluehost Backend and I pointed the DNS at Shopify's IP address, and I set up the different CNAME. If you do need to do that, that's completely fine. They have step-by-step instructions, and it's really not that hard. It does take about an hour or two for the servers on the back end to kind of update so that everything's pointing in the same direction. So you're probably not doing it wrong. You just have to give it an hour to even 3 hours time. They say up to 48 hours, which I guess is possible. But ideally, what you can do is you can just buy a new domain right here through Shopify, which is probably easier. If you don't want to buy your domain through Shopify, I do recommend Bluehost. I have a link in the description for a great deal on Bluehost hosting. I love Bluehost for WordPress. I use WordPress on a lot of my other sites because they are blogs, and I like WordPress for kind of the blogging functionality and the SEO. But I really wanted to use Shopify for Newmark as a musician brand, because I feel like a lot of influencers and artists and musicians have these audiences that they simply want to monetize, and they don't want to worry about creating their site and all the stuff that goes into site maintenance. They really want to put their content out there on the various social medias and point people to an easy e-commerce store and a landing page that showcases their best content and their best products. So that's why I think Shopify is great for musicians and artists, and I think it's super great because I really set this store up in 2.5 hours or so. I'm pretty thrilled with the way it works. It's everything I wanted. It shows off my YouTube videos. It tells a very, very brief story as to why you should pre-order these shirts. You should pre-order these shirts because then you can help them exist. Link in the description, please do. And then at the end, it also has you follow along and has people sign up for my mailing list, which then also just goes right into the Shopify backend dashboard where it collects emails. You can, if you want, sign up for other third-party email services like MailChimp or Klaviyo, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and you can do more advanced email marketing with that. But this is enough for day one. This was all about the design. Tomorrow, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna learn a lot more about the kind of marketing connections and tools that Shopify gives you. Like already when I was clicking around, I can see that they have these analytic dashboards that will show you, your total sales for that day and really give you everything you need to know right away. You can connect these to your Facebook pixel so that you can run social media ads. You can do a whole lot more, and that's what we're gonna dive into the next video, which is kind of connecting your Shopify store to the right analytics platforms and to the right marketing platforms so that you can begin drawing visitors into your store. But for now, I really appreciate you watching this video. If you could subscribe to this channel, I would love it. If you are going to use Shopify, I really appreciate you using my link in the description below. It helps me out and it comes at no extra cost to you. I'm loving Shopify so far, so I do highly recommend it because I'm using it personally. And yeah, I love you guys.